So next month will mark the dubious anniversary of the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade, effectively ending the longstanding right for women to obtain an abortion. And part of that end began in Mississippi. Back in May of 2021, the Supreme Court agreed to hear a case known as Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization concerning a once dormant law in Mississippi that banned most abortions after 15 weeks of pregnancy. Fast forward to a year later, in June of 2022, the now heavily conservative United States Supreme Court, thanks to 3 justice appointments by former President Donald Trump, it helped end 5 decades of abortion rights for women in more than a dozen states in America. A month later, in the wake of the decision, the only abortion clinic in Mississippi shut its doors for good. The state's Attorney General, Lynn Fitch, she's become a hero to conservatives and has said that she hoped to, quote, empower women by ending Roe v. Wade. My next guest, who's running to unseat Fitch as Attorney General, has got a lot to say about that. We want to note that Attorney General Lynn Fitch did not respond to our requests for an interview. Joining me now is Greta Kemp Martin, Democratic candidate for Attorney General in the great state of Mississippi. Greta, good morning. Thanks so much for joining us. Look, our viewers need to know you first decided to jump into this AG race after you saw that literally no other Democrats were stepping up to challenge that incumbent AG, Lynn Fitch, for her seat. Why? Was there no one other than you willing to challenge her, especially considering the latest polls showing a lack of support for draconian abortion laws?
Well, thank you for having me this morning, Katie. Plain and simple, I threw my hat in the ring because I want to unseat the attorney that overturned Roe versus Wade. Plain and simple. I'm running because Mississippi deserves better. And I believe that I'm the person to do better for this state, not only because I threw my hat in the ring, but I'm passionate about moving Mississippi forward, not just in the area of healthcare, but across the board. I've lived in this state my whole life. I'm from a very rural community in Tishomingo County, where my dad is a police officer and my mom is a retired nurse. And I was raised on the principle that that applying the law and the principle of helping others should not apply just if you are Republican or Democrat. You should be helping everyone in the state of Mississippi. And unfortunately, our current Attorney General has failed at every turn, not just on the front of overturning Roe versus Wade, but she has abused this office to get her rich friends richer. And she has abused this office to also overlook about $100 million in stolen welfare funds that she has left unchecked and unprosecuted. So it's time for a change, and enough is enough. And I hope people agree and will join us at gretaforag.com.
So, Greta, let's talk about your successful run. I'm gonna imbue you with some success here. If you become Attorney General, considering the political makeup, though, of Mississippi State Legislature, what can you do to help reproductive rights at a minimum in the state of Mississippi?
We have seen Republicans launch full-scale attacks state by state on abortion rights and reproductive rights as a whole. So here in Mississippi, what I'm prepared to do is protect our healthcare freedoms in the face of these extremists that think that they know what's best for women and their bodies. I can not waste taxpayer dollars going after healthcare providers in this state, especially when we have almost $100 million in stolen state funding that was meant for the poorest people in the poorest state in the nation, and especially when we are desperate for adequate health care among our hospital and maternal care deserts in this state. I want to do everything in my power to bring this office back, put it back on track, and return that stolen money to our state and make sure that state leadership, whether they're Democrat or Republican, are held accountable to the people that elected them.
What are the other issues, and I've got less than a minute, though, Greta, what are the other issues that you're hearing during your campaign to be able to become the next Attorney General in Mississippi that the voters are interested in? Because I will point out, last year for the midterms, Mississippi saw only roughly 32% voter turnout, which was the lowest in the nation.
Yes, Katie. So since that time, what we have had is a couple of things that I'll tell you real quick. One is a large-scale corruption scandal. Again, I've mentioned a couple of times, almost $100 million in stolen welfare funds that our Attorney General has turned a blind eye to. And second, what we have is state leadership that just recently gave up the ability to fully expand Medicaid. We are one of 9 states. And given our health care crisis that we're having in this state, the fact that our state leaders are not listening to their constituents and fail to fully expand Medicaid is egregious.